Welcome to the BTEC Sport Level 2, an introduction to BTEC Sport. Course aims and introduction. The BTEC First in Sport courses will give you the opportunity to achieve a nationally recognised vocational qualification with a focus on sport, fitness and leadership. The BTEC Sport certificate is made up of 120 guided learning hours and you will complete 4 units. On successful completion of the course, you will get 1 GCSE. One of the units that you will do, Unit 1, is an exam. Okay, let's look at the expectations. There are theory and practical components to the course. It's really, really important that you understand that we will be in a classroom and you will be learning theory and sitting down and doing those theory lessons. However, there is a lot of practical within the unit as well. Some of it you'll do at home. For example, Unit 3, where you'll complete a training program, you will conduct that at home. But Unit 2 is practical sports performance, and we will look at your performance in 2 sports. So there is a theory element to it, but there are also practical elements. When we do the practical, it is really important that you bring your full PE kit. Socks, shorts, t-shirt, and a pair of trainers. It's really important that you look professional. You're doing a professional course, and obviously it's integral to passing that course, so you must bring your full PE kit. Okay, let's look at completing your work for Units 2, 6, and 3, plus the exam. So let's start with the external exam. The first unit you will do is Unit 1. This is called Fitness for Sport and Exercise. This is an externally assessed online exam. You will complete work in your exercise books and will use a range of teaching methods to ensure that you learn the required information. Roughly, depending on the content, every 3 to 4 lessons, there will be an assessment lesson where you will answer a long answer question and we'll look at the Peel response, okay, and we will break it down and ensure over time that you improve your long answer question answering, because that's really important. That's where you get your big marks. And it'll be on the topic that you've just covered. The following lesson will be acting on feedback lessons. So we'll give you either whole class feedback or individual feedback. It depends on what you've done. It depends on how you're doing as a class, how you're doing as an individual. And we will assess it as we get to it. This will allow you to address any misconceptions, any areas where you've gone wrong or where you've made a big mistake or even a little mistake. And it will give you an opportunity to consolidate that learning before moving on to the next topic. Obviously, coming with that, it's really important that your attendance is high. You do not want to be missing those lessons because that's where you really will improve your own learning and your own understanding. It's imperative that you complete your homework and conduct independent learning, revision in preparation for the exam. It's really important, gents, that once you've done a couple of lessons, maybe you've done the first topic, that you start doing your revision. You start doing that independent learning, going back and revisiting stuff. We don't have a huge amount of time. You'll probably sit your exam around February, possibly even earlier. So it only gives us 3 or 4 months to get across a load of content that you need to remember for an exam. And you need to realistically aim for at least a merit, if not higher. If you can get a merit, then you can get a distinction star overall. That's really important. So completing your assignments then. So Units 2, 3 and 6 are assignments, okay? This is internally assessed work, moving then on to possibly being externally verified at a later date. All work and resources will be uploaded into your assigned Google Classrooms, okay, by our subject teacher, and you will also submit your work there, okay? So that's where you'll submit your work. You'll complete the shared Google Doc in order to complete your work. It's all set out for you. All you simply have to do is complete it. A bit similar to what you've been doing for your home learning recently. The Google Doc will be for the full learning aim and it will guide you through every aspect of the specification. Okay, so we will not miss anything out. So providing you complete all the work to a really high standard, then you will get the highest grade for that learning aim. Okay, once completed, you will then complete the submission sheet, which is at the bottom, and electronically sign it. That's there to say that your work is your own, that you've not plagiarized, that it's authentic to you, okay? And then we will also then insert our grading into that, all right? And that enables you to keep a track of where you're up to and what grades you're getting, and you can actually start to look at and build up an idea of what grade you're going to get overall. So each unit has a learning aim, and with each learning aim, it's broken down into separate tasks, okay? So you might get learning aim A, and within learning aim A, there might be 3 or 4 separate tasks, but it'll be all on the Google Docs. So it's dead easy to understand and work your way through, all right? And all assignments on the Google Doc covers the full learning aim, all right? So dead easy. Deadline submission of work then. So you'll get roughly about 4 weeks to plan, research, and present your assignment. What we normally do Again, it depends on the learning aim. Again, it depends on the content that needs covering, and that can then decide how long we need to teach it for. But usually 2-3 lessons of teaching, and then you'll get around 4 weeks then to plan, research, and present your assignment. Okay, give or take. Some things are a bit quicker, some things are a little bit slower. It can depend on what it is that you're doing. But that's a rough idea of how you'll do your work. All right, and the work is done in exam conditions. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's coursework, and it is important that you do it in under exam conditions. All assignments will be completed through the Google Classroom. Okay, you won't do anything separate. It will all be done through Google Classroom. That includes not just your assignments, but any piece of information that we may need to share with you in order for you to learn, read, give you some guidance, maybe waggles. That'll all go through Google Classroom. Okay. If you have a genuine reason why you cannot submit your work by the deadline, you will need a written parental explanation outlining why the deadline could not be met. Depending on reasons, an extension might be extended. However, that really, it has to be very, very serious for that to happen. In other words, you must meet the deadline that we set out. Okay, so when we tell you what the deadline is, it is so important that you meet that deadline. All non-written tasks, class presentations, for example, question and answer sessions, practical attainment in some areas, coaching, will have a completed observation sheet that we will fill out, but we will also use photographic and video evidence as well. Video evidence for Unit 2, which is practical sports performance, so we will video passing a football. Okay, so doing that in isolation. We will video in a condition practice, and then we will video a full 11v11 game plus a basketball game as well. Okay, and that will be sent to the external verifier. Okay, for Unit 3, you will be required to keep your own training diary, which will include photographic evidence. And for Unit 6, you will deliver a coaching session with photographic evidence, but your partner, you will pair up and a partner will take those photographs for you. But that one will be done in school. Unit 3 will be done at home. Okay, so authenticity, plagiarism. It's really important that the work that you submit is your work. It must be authentic to you. You cannot cheat, and cheating includes copying big, vast sums of text and pasting it straight into your work. Okay, word for word. You cannot do that. You might take bits of things that you find from books and the internet, for example, but it must be summarized into your own words, and it cannot be huge chunks. It must be small bits that you just simply add into your work. You can also you must also not take work from another student, whether that's a past student or a current student. Okay, we know whether you've written it or not, and if it comes to light that you have plagiarized or tried to cheat, okay, then there are processes that we must take, with one being a written warning explaining the issues. Your work will then be classified as a referral, okay, and then you must resubmit, okay, and that will go down as a resubmission. So if that was to be sent to the external verifier, they will know that it's a resubmission, and then they will request reasons for that resubmission, okay, and it won't look good if we're talking about an authenticity problem. If this was to continue, and to be honest with you, we've never had this really. We've had bits of lads copying too much, and we've dealt with it, but in terms of big time cheating, we've not really had it. However, it is likely though that if it was to continue, and you were just continuing to hand in work that was not yours, okay, you would be withdrawn from the course and ultimately reported to the exam board, because it goes down as cheating at the end of the day, and it's classed as if you were to do it in an exam hall. Okay, so just make sure that the work that you produce is your own. Okay, assessment and grading then. So assessment for assignments. Assignments will be given at the beginning of each new unit with set deadlines, okay, as I've already explained. You will be graded between a level 1 pass, a level 2 pass, level 2 merit, and a level 2 distinction. Okay, this will be done on the submission page at the end of each learning aim. The work will be marked by your subject teacher, and then it will be internally verified by our staff. So if you're in my class, Mr. Duffy's, I will mark your work, and then Mr. Whitehead may internally verify it, okay? On top of that, your work may be sent off for an external verification by the exam board. That's known as an EV, okay? And they will then moderate the work to ensure that your work meets the national standard requirements, okay? You only get one opportunity to hand in an assignment, okay? We are no longer allowed to give summative feedback, so feedback during your assignment. It's really important then that you understand the specification and how to read it, because you will need to self-assess your work. It's really important that the work that you are handing in fully meet the grading criteria. Okay, we cannot go back and start improving work once handed in, because we're not really allowed to do it. Okay, so it's really important. You need to understand the specification, and I'll go through some of that with you in a second. So assessment for the external exam. The unit is externally assessed using an on-screen test. That can really put the students off. That can really put you off sitting at a computer doing a test, because people tend to think that it's really easy and then it's just click, 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 click and go through it. And unfortunately, they then don't get the marks that are required. It's really important that you write as if you were sitting a normal exam at a desk and writing your answers. They need to be long answers. They need to be well written, and they need to have all the information required to get the best mark. Pearson sets out marks the test. The test lasts for 1 hour 15 minutes and has 60 marks. Okay, so it's quite a long exam with 60 marks. Normally there are about 8 different exams, so you won't sit exactly the same exam. Okay, and they all come with different grade boundaries. So, for example, one student might get 31 marks, and another student might get 32 marks. The one with 31 might get a merit, the one with 32 might get a pass. It just depends on the exam that they sat and the grade boundaries for those exams. So you just need to be aware of that. Essentially, you need to do the best that you can. So grading them. You'll be graded either from an unclassified, which is 0, moving up to a distinction, which is 24. So each unit comes with a score of either 0, 6, 12, or 18, or 24. The overall score, so we add them all up, will then give you your overall grade. Okay, and that ranges between 0, unclassified, level 1, 24, level 2 is 48, level 2 merit is 66, level 2 distinction is 84, and for distinction star, it's 90 points. So for example, if you were to get 18, so a merit in your exam, 24 in unit 2, 24 in unit 6, those are 2 distinctions, and then merit in unit 3, you would get 84, and therefore you would achieve a distinction. What's really important is you get the highest grade possible in unit 1. If you were to get, for example, a level 2 pass, you cannot achieve a distinction star overall. Okay, so it's really important to understand that you must get at least a merit. If you can get a merit, then we can adjust other units. Maybe if your target grade is a distinction, then obviously you don't need to distinction every single unit. All right, but if you want a distinction star overall, then you just need to distinction star all the other units, but it makes that achievable. If you don't get a merit, you cannot get a distinction star. Okay, therefore it becomes unachievable. So it's really important you get that merit. So the units that you'll do in the order of completion, we don't do them 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, unit 3 underpins everything. It brings everything together, so we do that last. But I'll go through it with you now. So unit 1 is the first exam, is the first one that we do. It's the exam. It's really, really important that you get your grade first time round. You are allowed to resit, but you are only allowed to resit once. And if I'm honest, it is unlikely that you'll even be doing that, because it takes too much away from all the other units. Okay, so you probably will be sitting it once. Okay, you need to go into that mindset that you're doing it once and that's it. It's not like, you know, same that you would do with English and maths. You sit the exam and you do it once. So this unit, fitness for sport and exercise, is core to the programme of study. The unit underpins the other units for sport. In Learning Aim A, you will cover the components of physical and skill-related fitness. Then you'll move on to Learning Aim B, where you'll explore different fitness training methods. And then you will look at basically testing and how to administer those tests. And you look at a vast range of tests. Okay, like I said, I've already said earlier, it's out of 60 marks and it's an hour and 15 exam. This is the first stuff that we'll start looking at over the next couple of weeks during home learning. Okay, so we'll start, and you've done a lot of this in some previous work during home learning in the fitness unit, and you've also touched on a lot of this stuff as part of your PE lessons earlier on in the year in September, looking at the different types of fitness training methods and fitness tests, and you've carried some of those out as well. Unit 2 is your practical sports performance. So the first bit is a bit of theory. So you look at the rules and regulations and scoring systems for 2 sports, which will probably be football and basketball. Once you've done that, you'll then practically demonstrate your skills, techniques, and tactics. Okay, so we'll go out onto the football field, basketball court, and you will demonstrate those skills and techniques, and we will video record that as well. And then using the video recording from the 2 games, basketball and football, you will then review your own sports performance. Okay, so it's a really nice unit. There is a lot of work to it, but it's a nice, fun unit for you because it's practically delivered. So Unit 6 is leading sports activities. This is where you will get an opportunity to coach the Year 7s. Okay, so you will essentially do the theory first, which is know the attributes associated with successful sports leadership. So you'll look at all the different qualities that a sports leader requires, and you'll do a compare and contrast between 2 as well. Once you've done that, you'll then undertake the planning of leading a sports activity. So you will plan 2 sessions, basketball and football, okay, and you will deliver 1 to Year 7, lasting for around 40 minutes. You'll plan in hours, but obviously by the time the shoes have got changed, you get about 40 minutes, but you'll plan for an hour. Once you've done that, you will then review the planning and leading of your sports activity, okay? And then Unit 3 is the last unit that you will do. This one is really important that you actually do a lot at home. Learning Aim A is developing your, just revisiting the principles of training, doing your PARQ, your physical activity readiness questionnaire and your healthy lifestyle questionnaire, and then designing that 6-week training program. Unit 2, you start looking at the musculoskeletal system and cardiorespiratory system. And then Learning Aim C is where you will then implement a self-designed personal fitness training program, keeping a diary. This is really important that you conduct this at home, because we will not have time to do your diary and do your actual training program in school time. You'll do your diary in your lessons, but you will conduct your sessions at home, and you must take photographic evidence, okay? We do require a lot of photographs for this unit. It's all set out for you, and it's easy to insert the images and etc. And it's done professionally through Google Classroom, and you put it onto a Google Doc. However, you must have the photographic evidence, okay? Obviously, it'll make doing the diary a lot easier as well. And then once you've done that, you'll then review your personal fitness training program. Okay, your training program will last for 6 weeks. All right, it's a really good one for you, especially those who are looking maybe going into personal training and doing that type of career. This is absolutely perfect for you, this unit. Again, it's 4 learning aims. It's worth 25% of your overall grade, so that each one has the same weighting. Okay. And again, your work could be internally verified and it could be externally verified. The one thing it will be is it will be marked by your subject teacher. Don't forget the IV is done by another member of staff within the PE department. Okay, and the EV is by somebody else. So that's it. That's the introduction to BTEC Sport. The idea is you need to try and aim to achieve above your target grade. Obviously, we'll give you your target grades next year, and we'll go through this again, and just to remind you, just to familiarise yourself with it. But it's really important that you now go away, have a look at the specification and digest some of that information, and look at what they're asking of you. Look at what do you need to know in Learning Aim A, B and C. Okay, that's really important. Once you understand that, the work's dead easy. And the other thing I will stress, keep on top of your work. Don't fall behind, because as soon as you fall behind, it becomes quite stressful. Just make sure that you do exactly what your teacher says. Make sure you do it on time. You won't have any problems, and you'll really enjoy the course. And like I said, we will try and teach as much of it through practical as much as we can, but there will be times where we're sat in a classroom doing work. Okay, well done. Thank you for listening. Good luck, gents, and hopefully we will see you soon.